Hello, cinema friends. Welcome to another edition of Cinesundry. I'm your host, Markus Seaberry, and today we've got a tale that has action and adventure all at 200 miles per hour as we review Bullet Train. Okay, now before we get into our review of Bullet Train, I want to remind you about our rating system. There it is. Now that top score, that is our tour. That is for those top shelf, best of the best, cream of the crop projects. Normally some of the best projects you've seen all year. And their middle score, appropriately enough, is middling. That is for those projects that have potential or promise, but didn't quite deliver on their potential or promise, and they wind up being just okay. And that bottom rating is half. That is for those terrible, dismal, abysmal, god-awful projects that probably shouldn't have been made in the first place. And now that you know our ratings, here's a rundown. Okay, in Bullet Train, Brad Pitt plays an aging hitman called Ladybug. He's kind of trying to work on himself, kind of get in tune with his inner peace, and he's supposed to do a simple snatch and grab, a simple heist. But little does he realize that on this bullet train are several other assassins, and it becomes this whole wild, extravagant, extraordinary adventure. And now let's talk about script again. The script is good, clever, it's fun, it's full of action, nice little moments. But my biggest complaint is that it just seems like it's all over the place. I just feel like a little focus could have been better. I mean, there's just a lot of exposition and backstory. I mean, a lot. And now in terms of acting, you got a solid cast. First up, we have Brad Pitt, another acting OG. You know him. He plays Ladybug, and you've seen him in several movies, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, 12 Monkeys, World War Z. But in this one, he's Ladybug. He's kind of a older assassin, just wants to do a simple little heist job, but everything goes awry. And it's interesting how you see the dichotomy and conflict of him trying to work on himself spiritually and mentally, while also still working as a person who kills people. Interesting, very nuanced performance, and Mr. Pitt pulls it off splendidly. And next up, we have Joey King, and she plays Prince. As you can see visually, she appears to be a young lady, but her character is not that innocent, if I may use a Britney Spears lyric. She has agendas, and you see all kinds of twists and turns and devious schemes. It's a great performance by Joey King. I think she's on her way. And next up, we have Aaron Taylor Johnson. Now, you know him. He was Kick-Ass in the movie Kick-Ass. He was Quicksilver in Avengers Age of Ultron. And he was in the last Godzilla movie. He is Tangerine. He is a no-nonsense hitman. Really by the books, trying to make sure everything's right, trying not to get in trouble, trying not to anger their employer. He uses his English accent in this one because he's from England, and he's an odd contrast to his partner, who's played by Brian Tyree Henry. Yes, where Tangerine was all about the books, Lemon, played by Brian Tyree Henry, is kind of the other way. Now, of course, you know Brian Tyree Henry from the Atlanta series and from the MCU film Eternals. His Lemon is kind of off, kind of goofy, a little weird, and he has an obsession with the show Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends, and he uses the personalities on that show to help him gauge people's personalities and figure out things in life. It's a crazy, odd personality quirk, but he makes it work in it. Brian Tyree Henry is, to me, becoming an unsung hero of cinema. He just has all kinds of different odd performances, but they're great. I mean, they're really, really great. I really hope he gets some hardware in a few years. And rounding out our cast here, we have Andrew Koji as Kimura. Andrew Koji is a solid actor. He's in the Warrior series. He's been doing some good work. And as Kimura, he's out for vengeance, payback. You can really see the anguish and desperation in his portrayal of the character. I mean, it's just a solid performance. And now let's talk about director's technique. The director is David Leitch. He directed Deadpool 2 and Atomic Blonde. And what I can see from this being at least the third film I've seen of his, he kind of likes to blend absurd violence, really gross and disgusting violence and situations, and sprinkle it with humor all the way throughout. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Most of the time in this film it works. And you know, the whole bullet train and the Tokyo, Japan setting, it just feels really frenetic and cartoony, almost like a anime brought to life at certain points. And that works. Just wish the story was a little better. And now let's talk about sentiment and rating. My sentiment when I left the movie theater was one of confusion. I know I didn't hate it, but like an adolescent after school special, I was somewhere between like and love. And once I examined it, and I had to be honest, I had to realize that even though I like this film a lot, it's a bit of a mess. It's all over the place, and it feels weighed down by the backstories and exposition. I mean, there's a moment where an inanimate object gets a backstory, and it made me laugh. But also, I know something like that might be the make or break moment for a lot of moviegoers. It is a fun film. I think it's worth seeing. But you know, you could probably wait for streaming or Redbox or on demand. But if you want a fun ride, it works. It's just busy. So for those reasons, I'm giving Bullet Train a rating of middling. I wanted to love it, wasn't quite there. Better luck next time. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of Cinesundry. I've been your host, Markus Seaberry. And remember, as always, we ask that you like the video, comment down below on the video, and subscribe to the On Location Memphis YouTube channel. And remember, guys, take some time and treat yourself to a movie. See you next time.